So what have I done since the last video? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure where we left off with the last video. It's been a while. You can see I got extension cords going through the one window there, but the windows are installed. I don't know if they were done last time. And I've done some more in the interior, no more in the bathroom, so I won't bother showing you that. But we put in the cabinets. I've put in the countertop, got the sink in, it's not plumbed yet. Got the electrical in. None of the trims in, you know. Lots and lots and lots to do still. But the cabinets on the sink side here, I've got 6 foot of cabinets. They're 30 inches tall, 12 inches deep, and a 6 foot counter. A small sink. My wife was more interested in counter space, so we got plenty of counter space there. Underneath this cabinet, of course, is our water tank, 50-gallon water tank, and there's still plenty of room. I got to put some shelves in there and so forth, but lots of storage under there, including there's a spot where in the corner will be strapped a 5-gallon bottle of spring water, which is what we drink. So the 50 gallons will strictly be for washing hands, washing dishes, and taking showers. We will be drinking off of spring water, which we will haul with us also. So, cabinets here now. Because of the water tank being in there, these two cabinets, the drawer and that door and drawer, don't open. I'll put hardware on it. You won't know that they don't open, but they're blocked because of the water tank and the water bottle and so forth. But I reused that drawer over here, so not only do I have, you know, the 2 drawers here and the door here, but I also have a drawer here. So not wasting anything. And then opposite, well, I mentioned, you know, I was going to add a vent that goes between the bathroom and out here. So that's a vent grill. It's one on both sides in the bathroom and out here. That allows you to have the fan going in the bathroom and suck more air than you would get just from underneath the door, kind of thing. So that fan works well. On the wall there, I've got under counter lighting, and it's dimmable as well as red. And there's 2 sections which I can switch individually. But for a night, you want a night light, there's the red. And the one next to it here is the water pump. Let's see. Oh, this panel here where you see the seam, that's the panel, that's removable, and that's where the plumbing is for the shower. Now, how all this is going to be finished, I don't know yet. You can see the bathroom door is not trimmed out or anything. Doesn't have the hardware on it yet. But we're probably going to go with some kind of stick-on wall covering use, and I don't know what pattern or colors or whatever my wife's going to pick out, but probably something very plain and not too busy, so that we don't get too claustrophobic in here. Again, I mentioned early on that I'm not a carpenter, and so the cabinets are purchased from a big box store, and they are heavy because, you know, it's just a wood front with particle board. The shelves I'll be making out of plywood, and again, it's a particle board with laminate top for the counters. So put a lot of weight in here, and I'm hoping that I don't exceed. The math in my head tells me I'll have enough for our belongings and so forth, but that's not known for sure yet. After I get everything in, before I trim it out, because that's not going to weigh that much, I'll take it for a road test to make sure that the that it all doesn't collapse. I don't know. I may go down the road 30 miles and it may just be a bunch of rubble in here. That I don't know yet. The microwave will sit on this counter on the door side of the trailer. Got two attachments there that will, when you're traveling, hold the microwave in the corner so it doesn't go anywhere. The monitor for the cameras is right there. Again, upper cabinet storage. And right here we have what we're calling the wardrobe on the bottom and the pantry on the top. There'll be two pull-out mechanisms to allow that full depth to be easily accessed. And then, of course, in the back will be the bed. There's going to be seating that goes down the sides. Across the back will be storage. Our refrigerator and freezer will be on the back. The AC and heating is just inside of that and will be vented out through that section right there. And the back wall. Mentioned earlier, we removed the spring mechanism. This door will not ever be opened again. Matter of fact, before I'm finished, that will be bolted shut so no one could accidentally open it, and the mechanism will be locked on the outside. Someone goes through the problem of bypassing the locks, that being for a surprise, you're not going to be able to open that door. So anyway, like I said, I've got the electrical done, and so that's what we're going to talk about. Well, I mentioned that the microwave oven is going to sit here. This drawer right here, what fits in there perfectly is a dual element induction cooktop. And I'll put up some photos. I already got photos of those in place. But this is going to be the cook station here. So basically a microwave above, you got some counter right there. Of course you got plenty of counter right behind you. Cooktop here, plenty of space to walk between. It is a portable cooktop so that we could take it out and put it on a picnic bench if you wanted to. Down below the microwave down here, this is the electronics cabinet. And as I explained early on, I was reusing a lot of things to keep the cost down. So one of the items that I had that determined a lot of this electrical build out was this inverter charger. So this is a 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter with charger. So it charges at 75 amps, 12 volts, and that's the thing. This is a 12 volt inverter. So some of them do multiple voltages. This one is 12 volts. So I really wanted to do 24 volt like my Doka is. If you're not familiar with that, check out some of our other videos. The Doka is, with its solar panel, it's got a 4000 watt pure sine wave inverter. It's only solar charged, but that's a 24 volt system. And because we're going with the 12, I had to do a few things to accommodate that. But we'll come back to that in a second. Let me go to my battery system. I have 3 battery packs. The bottom here, and I'll show you some photos, is 4 of the Battleborn 100 amp hour batteries. So I have 400 amp hours at 12 volts underneath the inverter here. That's why the longer cables is all a matter of being able to access things, which dictated longer cables so that I could get to things to check, make sure things are tight, blah, blah, blah. You know, one decision leads to all these others that, you know, aren't decisions then. They're made for you. Let me turn on the light in here. That might help a little bit. So, bunch of cable in the back there, doesn't look too neat. That's from the cameras. I guess I could have cut and spliced that, but they come with long cables, so they're just wound and zip tied and stashed back there. So, back to the battery pack. So that's battery pack number 1. There's a total of 3. Number 2 is in the bottom of the pantry, or the wardrobe here, and that's 2 SOK 206 amp hour batteries, 12 volts, 206 amp hours. So in parallel, of course. So we've got, you know, a total of 412 amp hours and 400 amp hours here. And then I've got the third battery pack is one that we made in-house, and that one is 12 volts, 360 amp hours, and it is strapped down right here next to the fender. So that's 3 battery packs. They're individually switched. So those 3 battery packs then, here's my main one, which is my number 1. The wardrobe's number 2. The Calb one out here, that's my number 3. So this is the on switch for number 1, on switch for number 2, and on switch for number 3 is actually on the battery pack, which will be underneath our seating. So each of the battery packs comes into a bus bar. Here's the positive, and then over here is the negative. And so that's the 3 battery packs coming in from the bottom. Coming out of the negative, for instance, it goes through my shunt down to another distribution bus bar, which then goes to all my loads. So all the loads go through that shunt. Right here, that's the switch, or the fuse for the inverter. Next to it is the fuse for the one of the solar charge controllers. There's 2. That's the 100 amp one, and the 60 amp one is right there. The 60 amp solar charge controller is right there. And over here is my kind of, call it distribution panel. What I have is my input here, so it's off right now, but this number 1 position, that's the shore power, and number 2 is the inverter. And so all of the AC circuits have circuit breakers right there, and then on the other side of that is the fuse block for all my DC circuits. So everything's protected. Here's my battery monitoring set up right here. A couple switches right here. This one allows me to turn on the clearance lights from inside here, so I can turn on my clearance lights with the trailer sitting by itself. Go for a hike in the evening or something, come back, you can spot your trailer sitting in the middle of wherever or whatever. And then this one, I got the door open, so I'm not going to press that one, but that's the alarm system. So I can turn on the alarm system from the exterior when you leave the trailer, or I can turn it on right here. And that light lights up red. So, kind of covered all that. Let's go to the solar charge controllers. The solar system consists of two separate systems. One is mounted on the bed of the truck, and the other is on the roof of the trailer. So the bed of the truck, we've got 1600 watts, and on the roof of the trailer we got 800 watts. 800 watts comes in through this 60 amp solar charge controller, MPPT, as they both are. And so there's a switch to turn it on, the solar input. I have the fuse out of the solar charge controllers now, so that when I'm doing things and everything, the solar charge controllers aren't coming on because they're not going to be needed because we're sitting inside of a warehouse. So those fuses will be added later. So because I have a 12 volt system, I had to get, this is something I didn't have, I had to purchase this 100 amp solar charge controller, and it's mounted on the outside of the cabinet here, and the seating will go up to about here, just below the display. The solar charge controller had to be this size because of the size of my array, and or I could have gone with, split the array and gone with two smaller ones, so forth. Lots of different ways to skin that cat, but I went with one. So that's what we have. One mounted right here, and just to keep it a little more simple as far as cabling and everything. There's some advantages to splitting it and going with two solar charge controllers. But anyway, so the connection, which will be underneath the trailer, so I can connect between it and the truck. Haven't run that wiring yet. You can see I've got the battery wires, but not the solar end, and that will be the solar switch right there. You can see I've got outlets in different places for those items that will need AC, as well as I've got a USB set up right there. More outlets. There's an outlet in here which the microwave oven will plug into, and what's plugged into it right now is the charger portion of the inverter charger. So all I do to turn that on is flip that switch next to it, and that turns on the charger, and I can charge if I need to with either the generator or the grid. So that's kind of a quick overview of what we have going on here. Again, nothing's finished. It's just, I don't have things zip tied or loomed or cleaned up. There'll be some, adjustment of wires and stuff. It's just kind of built in place so I can test things before it gets road tested. I'll be tying things up because I don't want any issues going down the road. But that's the status of the project right now. So like you saw before, we have the bathroom, which there's my hot water heater, which will go underneath a cabinet that I will be building in there, and then there will be an upper cabinet. There's the shower. I don't have the shower door on yet. It's got one of those Nautilus doors. Haven't installed that. Light and fan. There will be a dry flush toilet over here with a cabinet above it. Like I said, a cabinet with a mirror as you come in here over the hot water. heater or water heater, and then there's a medicine cabinet mirror right there also. So switches for your lights and your fan. Should have turned the light on before I turned the camera on. So it's a decent sized bathroom. You know, it's not as big as what we had in our fifth wheel by any means, but it's actually bigger than some trailers I've owned in the past. So, you know, regular RV travel trailers. So anyway, that's my current status. So, a note on the plumbing here, I haven't put the cover on because I fixed some little plumbing leaks we had. We had some real minor leaks. I took care of those. And after I got all those fixed, I was draining the water tank and my pump died. So I ordered a new pump, different model or different, you know, manufacturer, everything, and I'm going to put a different pump in there. But so still have to do that. And like I said, I have to plumb the sink. There's no drain or plumbing in that yet. But you saw before the things are to a point where I just need to bring this stuff over to the sink. And that will be another day. So got quite a bit of storage in here. I feel pretty comfortable about that because, like I said, all of this from the cabinet back and over, all that's going to be storage underneath the seating and everything. The table will fold up against the back wall. So when the bed is up, you can fold the table up and have all this room right here for whatever purpose. And then you got bench seating on both sides of the table. It's going to be a good sized table. I believe it's going to be about 4.5, 5 feet long by, I don't remember the width, but pretty wide. So it's going to be a good sized table. So we can do whatever. Store all our crud and stuff and during the day when we're scoping out where we're going next or whatever. So anyway, that's that. Of course, I have to insulate and trim that back wall. I mean, underneath the plywood it's insulated, but around, you know, the header and all that. And I may just do a spray foam in those areas, you know, box it in and then have some access holes where I can spray in the foam. But nothing set in stone at this moment. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a like. If you're interested in seeing the rest of this bed lift mechanism you know, come to fruition, whether or not it works or not, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I hope you enjoy your day, and thanks for joining me.